We have worked with credit unions for many years to build performance scorecards. And I think it's something that, well, I don't think, I know it's something that is one of the most valuable exercises that we've done with virtually every credit union that we worked with. And got a whole nother video on the process and the role that scorecards can play and so forth. So check that out. Today I wanted to talk about it from the context of what should we be measuring? What should you be, looking at specifically to, well, really assess how well are we doing and ultimately hold yourself and your teams accountable to doing what you need to be doing. One of the challenges, a quick aside here, one of the challenges that I have experienced with those credit unions over the years is that they measure too many things. Their scorecards got 12, 15, 20 items on it. That's too much, guys. You can't manage that. It gets diluted if nothing else. And you certainly can't weight 12, 15, or 20 different things. I'm going to propose to you today that when you think about your scorecard and you think about what you want to measure and what you want to hold your people accountable to, think about three buckets, if you will, or three groups of metrics, and then we can go from there to whittle it down even further. Number one is performance metrics, okay? What do we need to do in order to be successful? Now, these change depending on whether we're talking about a credit union scorecard versus, let's say, a branch scorecard, okay? At a credit union level, these are the macro goals that show up on your 5300 report that the examiners are focused on, that your board is really concerned about, okay? At a branch level, these are more performance and specifically production metrics, all right? But what are the most critical key financial metrics? All right, so that's bucket number one. Bucket number two is about your members. What metrics do we want to rely on and focus on to know how well are we doing with our members and for our members? And so there's really a couple different avenues you can take here, and I would propose that you consider both avenues. The first is satisfaction. Get their feedback. Let them tell you consistently and thoroughly how well are you delivering. That's important, and that should be a metric that you track. So that's avenue number one. Avenue number two then is not just what are they telling you, but what are they doing? And so this is where a lot of the growth metrics need to come in. How well are we performing with certain segments of our membership? How are we performing with new members, younger members, digital members, et cetera, et cetera? So those growth metrics really come into play here. So bucket number two is really kind of divided between satisfaction, member satisfaction, and member growth. All right. And then number three is your employees. And again, there's a couple different ways that you can do this, but primarily it's feedback. What are we hearing from them? So if you're not doing engagement surveys, you have to be doing those. All right, that's number one. What are they telling us? But then secondly, and this really varies from credit union to credit union, okay? So we would help you work through this, but what are they doing? So largely what we see there is turnover rate. And, are we maintaining staff? There's a lot of components to that need to be considered, because maybe you're retaining the wrong people. Maybe you've got high turnover and high performers. That should be a red flag. So you need to really think through what's the right metric for turnover. But the third bucket, again, is kind of subdivided between what are we hearing from employees and what are we seeing with our employees. So that's pretty high level. It's not 30,000 feet, maybe it's 10 or 15,000 feet, but maybe it'll help you get started with your scorecards. And again, the keys are simpler the better. Don't have too many metrics. Try to boil it down to a handful. What you do at the credit union level is different than what you do at the branch level. And then think about those three buckets: performance, membership, and employee. All right? Go get them, guys. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.